Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Golf Talk Live. I'm your host, Ted Odorico, and it is Thursday, September the 12th, 2013. And welcome back, everybody. I know a lot of you listened in last week when I had author Jim Dusabella on, who had a great book, and it was called King of Clubs, The Great Golf Marathon of 1938. And just to let you know, it is available on the Golf Talk Live website, and I'll give you that information a little bit later on. Just a quick moment or two before I bring on tonight's guest and introduce him, bring him onto the program. I would just like to say I would be remiss if I didn't mention something, but obviously September 11th, yesterday, was a very important day here in the United States. And even though I'm, as many of you know, I'm originally from Canada, my heart goes out to my fellow friends and comrades here in the United States that I've known for many, many years. As I think I've mentioned here before, I had been in the Canadian Navy for about 5 years back in the early 80s, and quite often we did different maneuvers and things like that with our counterparts in the U.S. Navy, and made a lot of friends along the way, and some of them are still with us, and unfortunately some have lost their lives over the years, so I certainly understand. So I would just like to say on behalf of here at Golf Talk Live, our condolences and sympathies go out to those families who lost loved ones during the Twin Tower collapse a few years back, and that our certainly hearts continue to be with you there. So I just wanted to certainly say something before we began the program. Got a great show, though, for you this evening. Just one more quick announcement before I bring on my guest this evening. You've heard me mention quite a few weeks now about South Coast Golf Guide. Well, they are now officially a sponsor. Jonathan Laird, who is the publisher of South Coast Golf Guide, is the principal owner of the business and also the publisher, as I said. They are now an official sponsor of Golf Talk Live. We're very honored to have him part of this group. And also their current issue is now available in many of the golf courses here in the Southeast. As I was just mentioning to our guest off the air, the guide basically covers from Mississippi right over through here into Florida, covering Alabama, Louisiana, and has quite a few top resort courses listed in the guide with information such as phone numbers, course ratings, and things like that. So you definitely want to pick up a copy. Just check at your local course if you're down here. And if you are not in the area and you'd still like to get a copy in case you're planning on a trip down here into the Southeast, you can go to southcoastgolfguide.com and you can find out how to get yourself a copy delivered to you. Anyways, I just want to welcome South Coast Golf Guide. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for your support of the program here at Golf Talk Live, and we look forward to a long-lasting business relationship with you. Before one more thing, I apologize to my guest here. For those of you that are listening to the program here live, and if you want to call in during the program, you can call in at 646-716-4667. If you're a little shy and don't want to come on air, you can certainly email me. It's ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. That's ted.golftalklive@gmail.com, and I'll certainly try to bring my questions forward for our guests this evening if you have any. As I said, my guest this evening is Bob Forman, and he's a certified golf fitness instructor and also the director of Golf Fitness for the Academies for High Point Regional, North Carolina. And he's agreed to come on the show this evening and talk a little bit about fitness and golf. And so before we go any further, let me just bring him on here and we'll continue the program. Bob, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Ted. It's a pleasure being here.
Not a problem. I'm looking forward to having you on, and I was glad that you were able to make it. And I will give you, throughout the program, I'll give you an opportunity to make mention of the website. And actually, let's do that real quick. I know your golf website is golffitcarolina.com. So make sure the listeners that you make a note of that, and you can check out and find out a little bit more about Bob throughout the program or afterwards. And we'll give that web address again throughout the program. Bob, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on Golf Talk Live this evening was when we originally had contacted one another through email. You had indicated that you were obviously involved in the fitness end of golf as well as the other aspects of it. And I really, I guess, appreciate the fact that in this day and age that we have to make sure that we're keeping ourselves in good shape, because golf is, believe it or not, a physical sport. And I just want you to sort of, first off, just tell a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, and then we'll get onto some questions for you to answer. So go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, I have a master's degree in exercise physiology and have been working in the corporate fitness world for about 30-odd years. And then over the last 10, I've been working in the medical fitness field, running the medical fitness center for the hospital down here in High Point, North Carolina. And then back in 2006, I attended the first World Golf Fitness Summit that the Titleist Performance Institute held in Orlando, Florida. And it was a 3-day workshop, and what they did was they expressed or presented their 10 years of research into the physicality of the golf swing, and it basically changed the game overnight. I mean, it was unbelievable information. And, you know, you mentioned about golf and the physical nature of golf. I mean, up until then, you know, golf and fitness really didn't go together. It was like oil and water. People were fearful that if they exercised, that it would actually ruin their golf swing. I mean, there were a couple of exceptions, like Gary Player, who's been talking about this for years.
Sure.
But we didn't have the research, back then. So with this golf fitness workshop, with them presenting the research, the pretty solid research as to the benefits of exercise and how strongly the correlation is between physical deficiencies and swing inefficiencies, I mean, it became a no-brainer, and like I say, it changed the game overnight.
Well, and the other thing too is, let me just point out for the listeners here. As I said, we've had others on the program that talked a little bit about fitness. We had Deanna Zenger, who was on a few months back, and she's on the fitness end of it as well. And we obviously have noticed rather in the last, I would say probably 10 to 15 years, a big shift in the fitness end in golf, and a good example is if you look at the current PGA Tour and LPGA Tour particularly, and even on the Champions Tour, I must admit a lot of them have, obviously Gary Player that still gets out in some of those tournaments, has always been a big proponent of fitness. But if you look at a lot of the current players, they're all in good shape, and for the most part, I mean, there's a few out there, but the majority of them are hitting that trailer every week and into a fitness regimen of some sort. And you really, if you look back beyond that and look at some of the players, and this is not really to offer a criticism to some of the past players, but as you said, fitness was not really, it was like oil and water. And that's not to say that they didn't, take care of themselves, but it just was not in the forefront. And I think players like Tiger and some of the other younger ones that had come on there a few years back changed the game, and obviously for the better.
Oh, definitely. And, the thing with fitness is that there's definitely a difference between fitness and golf fitness, and I think a lot of people don't realize that distinction. But golf fitness really is an inward look at the golfer, at the physical makeup of the golfer, and it helps identify where her or his weaknesses are, and then it helps to correct those weaknesses. And as you do that, you actually help the golfer, help their ability to swing the golf club more efficiently. And in doing so, you're going to have better ball contact. You're going to get more distance, and distance is still number one in golf. It's still the king. People, I can't tell you how many of my clients, when you ask them what are they looking for to get out of this program, and it's distance. But also the injury part of it. I mean, there's a lot of golfers, unfortunately, that have hung up the golf clubs or haven't really played all that much because they've got all these nagging aches and pains. And again, a lot of that focuses on the deficiencies, the imbalances, the muscle tightness, the muscle weakness that people have. So when you go through a golf fitness program, basically, you're going through an assessment first, and that's a must. I mean, if anybody out there is looking for a golf fitness program, you got to make sure that you find one that has an assessment piece to it. Because otherwise you have no blueprint, you have no roadmap as to where you should be going in terms of your fitness program. And unfortunately, if you don't know where your deficiencies are and you jump into an exercise program, you can actually enhance those deficiencies and make matters worse. So you always want to make sure that you're looking for a program that has an assessment piece that will identify where your weaker areas are and then develop a program to first correct those deficiencies so that you can move more efficiently and play better golf.
And that's obviously something that we all want to do. And here's an interesting thing, Bob, that we've talked about here on Golf Talk Live over the last few months. You know, a lot of people are under the illusion, and I know I'm probably going to catch hay for this, but, you know, that it's all in the equipment, you know, the new fancy drivers and things like that, that's going to help them. And it is to a point. But really the fitness and being in good shape and recognizing the areas that need to be helped, as you say, getting golf ready and golf fitness, understanding where the weaknesses are and how to handle that. And we're going to get to that in here in just a moment. But, you know, people are looking for equipment to sort of make up for those shortfalls. And, you know, they're certainly going to help. I mean, you know, the new drivers and that are certainly going to help somebody hit it a few extra yards. But if you look at, as I mentioned, the tour players and things like that, I guarantee you, I don't care what driver you put in their hand, they're going to get a little bit, but it's going to be insignificant compared to what the results they're getting based on their abilities physically, and obviously, of course, mentally falls in there. But their physical side is what's reaping the rewards, and not whatever club they happen to be playing with, you know, in their endorsements. So let's sort of digress here a little bit, and let's start off right from the beginning. What are some of the weaknesses that you're seeing in some of your students and some of the people that are coming to you?
Well, I want to go back just a second on the point that you just made about the external factors. I mean, you know, up until 2006, before all this research came out, I mean, basically golfers, the only avenue they had was external factors, you know, the equipment. Let's buy a new driver. Let's buy the new golf ball. Let's buy a teaching aid. And yes, you know, the equipment has gotten better. I mean, no doubt, and the golf balls are getting better. But, you know, I use the analogy when I do my workshops is that it's like buying a used car that doesn't run that well because it's got a faulty engine. And you go out and you spend a ton of money on 4 new tires and put the tires on the car thinking that that's going to make the car run better. And it's not, you know, until you fine-tune that mechanism that's driving the car, you're not going to make that car run better. And it's the same thing with golf. You know, and, you know, I've worked with juniors all the way up through tour players, and everybody's got physical deficiencies. I haven't had anybody yet go through the assessment without identifying at least 1 or 2 deficiencies, and that's rare. Usually it's 5 or 6 or 7 or more.
Right.
And so, you know, if you go out and spend $400 for a new driver, the problem is that, you know, you still have that engine that's not driving that car that well. So, yeah, you may hit that ball further, but chances are you're going to send that $5 golf ball further into the woods. So, you know, so it's to your benefit to really finally take an inward look, you know, an internal look at the mechanism that's swinging the golf club, and that's the golfer. So, and then,
sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
finish
your thought. No,
well,
all I was going to say is, please go ahead.
I was just going to get into the deficiencies, the question you had asked.
Oh, okay.
In terms of
right. Let me just say this. Finish this thought. You know, obviously, the equipment is going to help, and I think one of the things that people don't understand. And again, it's not to knock the manufacturers. I understand they're out there to sell their equipment and things like that. But I think some of the advertisement is a little bit misleading, because most of the players are not getting, you know, 10, 20, 30 extra yards with this gadget or with that particular club. And I think this is where the frustration level comes in. And I think it's certainly there to help, and there are improvements in the equipment, and you want to capitalize on that. But there's a lot of other factors that have to be in place first before you're going to get the best results. And obviously fitness is I think, probably one of the number one areas that people really need to start focusing on for a multitude of reasons, not just to help your golf game, but you're going to feel better, less prone to injury, that sort of thing. So let's go back, as you say, there some of the weaknesses that you're seeing when you're doing your assessments?
Well, I mean, there's definitely commonalities amongst all golfers, all
Mm-hmm.
whatever level, whatever age, whatever gender. We'll start with the posture, and
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing a lot today. It's almost an epidemic. I call it an epidemic of C posture. And that's characterized by a bowing of the back, as the individual is standing over the golf ball. And what happens when you're in C posture is that you just can't bring the club back as well as you can when your spine is nice and straight. All right?
Right.
So you limit your backswing up to about 30%. And anytime you limit your backswing, the distance that the club is going to travel back, you're going to limit the distance the club is going to travel down, so you're not going to be able to generate as much club head speed. So again, you rob yourself of distance. Now, the reason why we're seeing a lot of C posture, and it used to be kind of an older golfer's disease, but now we're seeing it in a lot of kids, and again, a lot of women as well. And the culprit is the computer. I mean, the fact that we're sitting at a computer all day, hunched over this thing. I mean, every dentist that I work with basically has C posture because they're sitting in their chairs, hunched over their patients. So what happens is the body adapts to the position that it's placed in most of the day. And for most of us, it's sitting over our computers. So in the upper body, what you see is you see a shortening or a tightening of the muscles across the chest and front shoulder, because you're in this rounded shoulder posture. You also see a elongation of the muscles in the upper back, and so when you elongate a muscle, you weaken the muscle. So not only is that bad for our posture, number one, you talk about health issues. I mean, just this, the summer's already passed. You may still see some of this down in Florida, but if you just kind of stand on the beach and look at people's postures, I mean, young and old, they're getting terrible. I mean, they're getting terrible. I mean, and that's just not good healthy-wise. But then, when you go out on the golf course, that just follows you. So you have this C posture, and like I say, it's all over the place. I mean, it's getting to be a big fall.
Well, and it's not only. Sorry, go ahead.
Another posture that we're starting to see a lot too, that is kind of detrimental to your health and to your game, is the S posture, which is characterized by a arching or a swaying of the lower back. And this tends to be more common in women and in younger golfers. And the S posture, when you have that extra arch in your lower back, it just does a job on the lower back area, especially the discs in the lower back. And it's usually related a lot of times to a tightness in the muscles called the hip flexor muscles, which are mainly located in the front part of your hip. And what happens when the hip flexors are tight, it pulls down on that hip bone and it rotates the hip bone down and forward, kind of anteriorly. And so as the hip bone rotates, it causes that arching in the lower back, and that's just real bad for the back. But then when you combine it with the golf swing, the repetitive nature of the golf swing, the one-sided nature of golf, it's just a perfect storm for backaches, and that's why a lot of women golfers are suffering from low back. And the more they play, unfortunately, the worse it gets. And until you identify the mechanism, being the muscle imbalance and correct that, you're not going to fix that problem.
Well, let me ask you then. Let's examine that for just a second. Since you've started off with the posture, you've got the C posture and the S posture are some of the common ones. What can the average golfer, let's forget the tour players and that, obviously they've got an arsenal at their disposal of professionals and things like that, but for the average guy out there or average gal out there that maybe doesn't know better and doesn't know enough to go and seek out a professional, what are some tips or things that they can do to help? I mean, obviously you're not going to get people off their computers because that's in there, and same with their iPhones and their tablets and things like that. It's just not going to happen. I mean, good luck grabbing it out of their hands. It's got a death grip. So how can we help some of these people improve their posture and sort of reverse that or counteract that against, the day-to-day uses of, as you say, of computers and things like that? What can we do to help them?
Well, the key is you got to get balance back into the system. lifestyle, a lot of our lifestyles create imbalances in our body, and that leads up to these nagging aches and pains that people suffer. And the low back gets hit quite a bit because of the nature of the beast. So, I mean, it would be extremely beneficial if people were to, you got to put a little work into it. Just take 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day and just do a little bit of stretching. Take a yoga class, talk to an exercise specialist and identify where the weaker areas are, or just get into a general stretching program. I got a book coming out in another week or so, and it talks about all these common deficiencies in golfers, and it offers simple self-assessments that people can do to themselves to identify where their weaker areas are, where their deficiencies are. And then it also offers 2 or 3 exercises, stretches, strengthening exercises that they can do to start to correct those deficiencies. So, I mean, the key is, we're in a society where we want it yesterday, and
right.
I have to work. You mean I have to work for this? But yeah, I mean, you got to put a little work. You got to put a little work into it. But I'm telling you, 5-10 minutes a day, you'd be surprised, or 3 or 4 days a week, you'd be surprised how much better you're going to feel on and off the golf course.
Well, and I think there is a difference. Like you touched on this right at the beginning of the program, where you mentioned about the difference between sort of general fitness and golf fitness. I mean, obviously, you want to be generally fit overall, and there's nothing wrong with going to the gym and working out. But lifting weights and doing cardio are great for certain aspects, but it may not necessarily be in the best interest, if you will. I mean, it's certainly going to help, but it's not targeting what you need to be targeting. As far as golf fitness is concerned, there's different specific things that you need to be doing that are going to enhance and help your golf game. And just let me, before we continue on, let me just quickly say, because you mentioned about your book, you said it's going to be coming out in a week. What I'm doing here, Bob, for a lot of my guests is we have a website, www.golftalkliveblog.blogspot.com. I know it's a long one. And what I would like for you to do is once that, as soon as that's available, we can touch base after we get off the program and that, but to let me know how the viewers can get a hold of that, and I will actually put up a link back to whatever site or what have you, wherever it's available, so that people that are surfing around on our website will have access to your book.
That'd be great.
So just sort of a courtesy that I'm doing for particularly those that are writing books and have done books, just to let the listeners of the program here get access. And obviously, they can go to your website directly, but I just like to have that extra link on mine so that the listeners and viewers and that are following Golf Talk Live can get access as well. So we'll touch base at some point after the program and do that. But so what are some things? Give me some specifics. I mean, I know you don't want to give out too much, and you can only get into so much here on the program, but give us a general idea. So stretching is one, but what are some other things that particularly? Let's deal with the men, because I'll tell you right now, most guys, certainly in my age. Now I've done some, but my age. You mentioned the word yoga, and it's like hands go up, and it's like no.
Yeah.
Not doing that. I'm not doing this stuff, and forget it. The ladies, not a problem. I'm sure most of them are probably already doing yoga, and I'm sure we can get into that. But what are some things that the guys, especially the guys in the 40s and their 50s, that are just the younger guys, they might be more receptive to it. But some of the guys in my age and even a little bit younger, they're not touching yoga. So what can we do? How can we help?
Number one, hamstring flexibility. Can you touch your toes without bending your knees? That's another kind of epidemic that's going around, and again, it's enhanced by the fact that we sit on our butts a lot during the day, and that basically shortens the hamstrings. Now, tight hamstrings are one of the bigger factors that lead up to bad backs because of the relationship that the hamstrings have to the hip bone, and the hip flexors will pull the hip bone if they're tight down and forward. The hamstrings, because they're in the back of the leg that attach to the hip bone, they'll pull the hip bone backwards. And what that does is as the hip bone rotates posteriorly, it stretches out the low back muscles and leaves them in a taut position. So early signs and symptoms there are tightness when you get up from sitting over a period of time, or the next day after a round of golf or two, you feel tightness or soreness in the back. So those are your warning signs. So a good stretching routine for hamstrings is definitely warranted for a lot of guys. Second, T-spine or thoracic spine, mid-back tightness. That's a big one as well, very common in guys and in gals too. And again, lifestyle has a lot to do with that. But
Sure.
tightness in the mid-spine, in the thoracic spine, which is kind of like in the mid-chest area, the chest and the mid-back area.
Right.
That's where rotation should come from in the golf swing. A lot of people think it's the lower back, and actually the lower back, the lumbar area, is really made more for stability. It's the thoracic spine above the lower back that's really made for mobility. And again, because of the fact we're sitting a lot, we're not stretching as much, that area tightens up. So that impacts, again, your ability to get the club back into the backswing. There's a lot of folks out there that have limited backswings. It can pull you into what's called a reverse spine swing fault, where as you're swinging the club back, you want to be able to maintain that spine angle, that secondary spine angle, because when you're standing over the ball, we'll talk about a right-handed golfer, your right hand is lower on the club than your left hand, so your spine angle is angling away from your target. And as you're bringing the club back, you want to be able to maintain that spine angle into the top of the backswing, because that's going to set you up to be able to initiate the downswing in the proper hitting sequence, and that's from the ground up, the hips first, then the trunk, then the arms, then the club. In reverse spine, what happens is your upper body starts to lean back towards the target, and so when you're at the top of your backswing, it's almost impossible for you to initiate the downswing with the hips. So chances are, in a lot of those cases, the arms are going to control the downswing, and anytime your arms and upper body control the downswing, you're going to come over the top. You're probably going to cast the club out, and so you're going to lose yardage. You're going to cut across the ball and hit that slice, that so many of us have. And a lot of that is because of the fact that, you've got deficiencies in your body that aren't allowing you to really get into the good hitting positions. So mid-spine, thoracic spine, mobility, flexibility, range of motion is important. Third, glutes, your buttocks, your butt muscles. Those are your power muscles. Those are the king of power. If you're a golfer, if you're a tennis player, if you're a hockey player, baseball player, that's where you're going to get your power from, or at least that's where you should get your power from. But guess what? A lot of us are weak in the glutes because we're sitting on them all day. And again, we elongate the glute, and so when we elongate the muscle, again, we weaken the muscle. So what happens is, I'm sorry?
What I was going to say, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but what I was going to say, just very quickly before you continue on, explain to the listeners why the glutes, what role the glute actually plays. I think a lot of people don't understand or never realize that the glutes, what role they actually play in the golf swing.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you ever watch Home Run Derby, the All-Star, the night before the All-Star game, baseball, and when they slow down the hitters, and you see them lead with the hips into the swing, the same thing happens in golf. I mean, the golf swing and the baseball swing are a lot alike. And it's really, and again, I mean, one of the three power moves in golf is the initiation of the downswing with the hips. And that is really generated a lot by the glutes, those buttock muscles. So if your glutes aren't strong, chances are you're going to lose a lot of power in your golf swing. The other thing that can happen when your glutes are weak is that you can't stabilize the lower body. So you get a lot of movement in the lower body. You either will get lateral movement, and there are a lot of people, Ted, that are unilaterally weak. In other words, one cheek is weaker than the other. And so if the trail glute is weak, so the right glute on a right-handed golfer is weak, a lot of times what you'll see excessive lateral movement to the side, which is called a sway movement. You also may see the right leg straightening out because of the fact that the glute can't stabilize the lower body. If the left glute is weak on a right-handed golfer, you may see the complete opposite. You may see a slide move where the hip, again, is moving excessively towards the target. And when you do that, basically you're really robbing yourself of being able to transfer energy up the chain from the hips to the trunk to the arms and eventually to the golf club. So, yeah, weak glutes is another thing out there that's pretty predominant. And, I mean, again, it's a simple thing. All these things are simple to correct if you know you have them, and then you just work, throw a little 10-minute, 15-minute routine in there on a daily basis or every other day and isolating these weaknesses. And I tell you, within 4 to 6 weeks, you'll feel a big difference in your game.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I mean, obviously those that have played and been around golf for a long time, especially either, the instructors or obviously the tour players know this, they understand what role a lot of the muscles in that play and the importance of keeping them in shape. And I would say that particularly for the ladies out there, you want to have some tight buns. I mean, if you've got tight buns and the glutes are in good shape and more often than not, and that's something that you want to work on. So there's an incentive, ladies, to make sure that you're working out your glutes, because it's going to help not only with your golf game, but it's going to make you look better as well. And I don't know too many ladies out there that wouldn't like to improve that area of I hear a lot of them all the time, always complaining about that they wish their backside was in a little better shape and so forth. So there's a great incentive there to do it, and also it's going to, for those of you that play golf, it's going to help. Let me just take a quick pause here, real quick, Bob, before we continue on. I just want to quickly introduce one of our corporate friends here and advertisers is In Your Face. I actually had the co-founder and president last week, Marion Cota, was on. It's the In Your Face view base for smartphones, and just want to tell you a little bit about it, so have a listen.
Hi, this is Ted from Golf Talk Live. Are you making use of all those golf apps out there? You know the ones that help you improve your game or have a GPS of the golf course? Well, you're going to need a holder for that smartphone, and here's the perfect holder. The In Your Face View Base flexible holder for smartphones. It easily clamps onto your golf cart or golf bag and lets you make use of those apps on the course hands-free. The In Your Face View Base will easily become your must-have golf accessory. Buy one today at theinyourface.com.
All right, we're back here. I just wanted to let our listeners know again about that, and just to also mention to the listeners here that you can actually go to the Golf Talk Live blog website, and there are links there now that will allow you to purchase right from the website. So just visit www.golftalkliveblog.blogspot.com, and the In Your Face icon is there for the view base. It's a great product. Marion, as I said, was on last week talking a little bit about it. It's great for attaching to your golf cart if you've got a GPS on your smartphone and you want to map out the course and things like that. Instead of fumbling around with your hands or sticking it in the tray on the golf cart and letting it your $300 or $400 smartphone getting banged up there, you can attach this on. It's very reasonably priced, $29.95. So get yourself one. It's on the website there, or you can visit theinyourface.com and purchase it directly from their site. Bob, just to bring you back in here on this, we just finished talking a little bit about the glutes and some of the muscles. What are some of the other weaknesses that you've noticed when you're doing your assessments? What are some of the other areas of weakness that a lot of golfers have?
Well, just one thing I do want to add to all this, there's one thing that we all need to take into consideration, because it's an inevitable thing that's going to happen to us as we get older, and it's called sarcopenia. You ever hear of that, Ted?
I don't even know if I want to know what that is. I haven't heard of that. No, I must confess that caught me off guard. What is? I don't even know what you said.
Sarcopenia is the natural loss of muscle tissue as we get older. And it happens in men and women, and it starts, unfortunately, at the age of around 30, and it starts to accelerate when you hit 50, so that you can lose 5% of your muscle mass every year. Now, the problem is, and that's if you're inactive. And there are ways that you can slow that process down and get some of that muscle loss back, and that's exercise, especially resistance strength training type exercise. Now,
but
the problem is, it's inevitable. But like I say, if you don't do anything, it will happen at a lot quicker rate.
Right.
Now, the problem is that most of the muscle tissue, there are two types of muscle tissue in your body. There's what's called a type 1, type 2, fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fiber. Fast twitch muscle fiber is for quick, explosive movements, like sprinting or swinging a golf club. Right. Unfortunately, with sarcopenia, with the muscle loss that we experience, most of it is in the form of fast twitch muscle fibers. So what happens as we get older, and one of the complaints that I always get from the older golfers is that I'm losing distance. And a big part of that is because they haven't really done anything to prevent the loss of this muscle tissue, especially this fast twitch muscle fiber. So now you can get a lot of that back or prevent that from happening if you train to increase the recruitment of fast twitch muscle fiber. And the way you do that is you get into speed work, power work,
Right.
But you want to make sure, though, that you crawl before you walk and then you walk before you run. You want to make sure that you're doing the corrective exercises first so that your body's moving more efficiently, so that when you get into the golf-specific strength exercises and balance exercises, you're able to accommodate that and you reduce the potential for injury and the results are gained, much quicker. And then at some point you want to start to include or incorporate power and speed exercises, which are basically just a time element. They're faster-paced exercises so that you can start to recruit those faster twitch muscle fibers, and that's when you can really enhance club head speed and really get your distance down the fairway. So that's something that nobody really ever thinks about. Being an exercise physiologist, kind of you run into that, but you never really read about it unless some exercise physiologist guy talks to you about it.
Well, let's just on that. Yeah, well, exactly, and that's why I said earlier in the program. Obviously the tour professionals and those playing at a higher level, they understand these things, and they've got, as I said, an arsenal of instructors and things at their disposal, and fitness gurus and whatnot. But for the average player, give us an example, if you will, to work in that area. Some just maybe one or two quick examples of type of exercise that we can do. Obviously, for the other weaknesses that you talked about earlier, some stretching and things like that. But what are you going to do about speeding things up to help that specifically to help with the club head speed and that? What are some exercises that they should be doing to speed that process up?
Yeah, well, you definitely want to focus on the three power moves. You want to focus on the shoulder turn. You want to focus on the initiation of the downswing with the hips, and then you also want to focus on the wrist, the ability to maintain the wrist hinge, and then to release the club, as you're coming through the ball. So, you want to work on specific areas, weaknesses that individuals may have that may be and/or stretching tightness that people may have that's preventing them from being able to do any one of those three moves. So that's the corrective phase, and then the golf-specific strength phase. And then when you get into the speed work, basically you do like a lot of medicine ball type work, where you're getting into your golf stance and you're holding maybe a 4-pound medicine ball or a 6-pound medicine ball, and you're kind of going through your golf swing. You're kind of taking the ball back a little bit into the backswing, and then you're going to explode through impact and release the ball and throw it to either a partner or up against a brick wall and then catch it again. But the key is, as you're doing this speed work, is that you want to keep in mind technique. A lot of golfers, they start throwing it, and they're throwing it with their upper bodies as they're coming through, So, you really want to make sure that the golfer, as they're doing that, is really focusing on the fact that you're leading with the hips, and basically the hips are pulling your arms through the exercise. But, you can really tell when they start to do it right, because you get a lot more oomph on that throw, being on the receiving end, as you're catching the medicine ball.
Right.
But, so that's kind of an example of speed work that works power, that recruits those fast twitch muscle fibers that will help you get more club head speed.
Well, and you talked about, and I probably can't think of a better example. I mean, there's obviously, as we said earlier on, there's a lot of young guys and gals on the different respective tours, but probably one that I think really epitomizes fitness, as you talked about right at the very beginning, and I think we actually might have mentioned this off air, so I'll do it again, but is Gary Player. Gary Player probably epitomizes golf fitness better than anybody that I can think of, and has talked about it pretty much his whole career, about the importance of different things and some of the different things that he's done over the years just to show the strength that he's gotten from doing these different things. I mean, when you consider the size, and this is not to be in a disrespectful way when I say this, but he's certainly not a very tall man, and he's not a great hulking man. But man, when you look at some of the things that Gary has done in his career, fitness-wise, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, I mean, and he's what, 72, 74, 77, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell exactly because I don't know, but yeah, he's certainly into his early to mid 70s at best, and I mean he's still, walking around there and got a kick in his step like a 20-year-old.
Well, and then he posed, in that magazine article just last month or 2 months ago, and I mean, and the guy's in great shape. I mean, for a guy who's in his mid 70s. But like you say, I mean, he's been preaching this, and he's been walking the talk long before anybody else in the golf industry really kind of get into it. And I mean, the guy's still playing some pretty good golf. So, it's a testament to what he's been preaching all this time. And the injury potential thing is also a key piece to all this golf fitness stuff. I mean, the fact that he's in his 70s, and I haven't really heard about Gary Player, having any type of problems physically in terms of being able to play the game, where unfortunately now, with a lot of some of these younger guys on tour, that have been playing the game since they were able to hold on to a golf club, the Tigers of the world and the Sergios of the world, and, you're seeing all the problems that they're having. I mean, Tiger with his knee and then with his elbow and now with his back. Sergio, I think for a while there was something about his back. I mean, back injuries, number one on the tour, it's number one across golf, across all levels. And again, golf is a one-sided repetitive activity. So if you play it long enough, you're going to develop imbalances in the body just because of that fact. So another good thing about golf fitness, is to be able to kind of, again, as we talked about before, to identify where those deficiencies are and to bring balance back into your system through stretching exercises and strengthening exercises, because it's when your body gets into misalignment, and that's what these muscle imbalances do. They pull the body into misalignment, and again, the low back is one of the primary areas, but it can happen in the shoulders and the hips and the knees. When you get into misalignment, and I did an article about golfers, golfing after knee and hip replacement, and I was talking to a very predominant surgeon here, and he said the key with this is it starts with misalignment, which wears down the body, which eventually gets you into trouble, with arthritis, and then you get into, replacing parts. So, any good fitness program should really identify and correct the imbalances that you have. And then when you do that, you really reduce the potential for injury. And one of my biggest thrills is getting injured players back out on the golf course. I mean, and it's just amazing, what a little bit of stretching, what a little bit of strengthening can do, even for those that have opted for surgeries and stuff like that.
Well, I actually had played golf a little bit, and I had mentioned this on a very early program, was actually involved in a relationship with his daughter, but a gentleman by the name of Nick Westlock, who was a very well-known golfer up in Canada, he'd actually had 5 hip surgeries over the years. Now, he had passed away a few years back, and he was very good friends with Mo Norman, who I'm sure you're familiar with. Yeah. And the two of them played. Mo was, I think he was probably in his mid-70s when he passed a few years back too. But Nick had powered on through all those years. But obviously, again, fitness was not a big thing in their day. But he still managed to play golf well into his 90s before he had passed on. Nick, I'm referring to. And, technology is obviously a lot better now. I mean, obviously Tiger's gone in for knee surgery, and there's others that, are going to probably at some time maybe be looking at hip surgery. Jack Nicklaus is one who's had hip surgery. But I think that there's a lot of it's not just about, afterwards, once the sort of mishaps and whatnot come about, it's the preventative that really I think people need to grasp now is there are certain things that are going to happen, whether it be genetics or what have you, but if we can do some preventative maintenance along the way, we can certainly prolong some of these injuries or certainly soften the blow quite a bit. And these are some of the things that you talked about. Let me very quickly, I just wanted for Bob, for the listeners that are just tuning in a little bit late in the program, my very special guest this evening is Bob Forman. He's a certified golf fitness instructor from the North Carolina area. And we're just talking here a little bit about how really to some of the things to look out for, not only as a player, but also for instructors. I know there's some instructors that are tuning into the program every week that maybe want to incorporate a little bit more on the golf fitness side into their teaching. I think it's important. It's not just about showing the guy how to hit the ball or how to play golf, but how to take care of that body and how to utilize it. And let me just say this real quick, Bob, before I bring you back on here to talk some more. A great test, just to show you, you mentioned just a moment ago about muscle imbalance. And really a great way is I'm left-handed, but I play right-handed. And I tried a number of times, and I must admit I probably can do better now, but years ago, even when I was a little bit younger, I tried to play left-handed. And the coordination and the muscle control was just not there. And I played golf, as I said to you, since I was 7 years old, played quite a bit and played at a fairly high level. But it just shows you that, as you said, the muscles sort of develop one way. And if you're not doing something to really do the checks and balances to balance it out, that is a great way. So if you want to know whether or not your muscles, there might be, I'm sure, a better way, but try and swing the club the other way and just watch the lack of coordination and inability to be able to do that. If you're right-handed, as I said, try swinging left-handed and vice versa, and you'll see right away exactly what Bob was just talking about. What are some ways people can do? Sorry, go ahead.
In actuality, because of the fact that, as we said, golf is a repetitive, one-sided activity. In a perfect world, you should take almost a swing from the left side for every swing you take from the right side just to balance it out. I know it's nothing that, not something you want to do out in the golf course, but
no.
It's just something. And then again, what you were talking about, if I could just talk about the collaboration between the teaching professional and the golf fitness instructor. A lot of teaching professionals are working with golfers and trying to help them get into good hitting positions. But for a lot of people, they just can't do it because they physically have these, the muscle tightness, the weakness that just won't allow them to get into those positions. There's a lot of golfers just don't realize that it's their own bodies that are holding them back from being able to play better golf. And what's nice is that, if when you hook up, with a team between the teaching professional and the golf fitness specialist, the golf fitness specialist can then help that golfer, identify and correct so that in a relatively short period of time, we can go back to the teaching pro and say, hey, now I can make that shoulder turn because I have better range of motion in my shoulder, which I didn't have before, and that was the reason why I couldn't get the golf club back. And unfortunately, what happens in a lot of cases is that, the people that really don't utilize teaching professionals, they read these magazines and all this kind of stuff. They go out there and they'll just make all these changes in their swing.
Right.
Golf is basically just all about, well, let me change my stance, let me change my grip, let me try to bring the club back in a different angle. But when you do that, again you increase the risk for injury because you're asking the body to do something that it's not accustomed to. So the player development wheel now in golf, is I think complete now between the skill piece, the teaching professional, and now the golf fitness piece, and then the other pieces as well, the equipment as we talked about, and then the mental piece where if I had a dime for every golfer that said, "Can you fix the 6 inches between my ears?" I'd probably be a rich man right now. But it's golf has finally embraced the whole sport physiology thing that every other sport has had for years. And they finally realized that, hey, golfer's anatomy does make a big difference in how well they're going to play and how long they're going to play, because you keep the body in balance and you're going to be able to play the game forever.
Right. Now, you mentioned earlier in the program, particularly for those that are just tuning in a little bit later here, you had mentioned about you've got a book coming out. What's the title of the book, and tell us a little bit about what's going to be in it?
Well, the book is called Functional Golf Fitness Training. And it's going to be it's a book that will help golfers. It's a good manual to help them identify where their weaker areas are. Most of the book is dedicated to talking about some of the common deficiencies that we talked about tonight, and how they impact your golf swing, how certain swing faults are related to certain specific physical deficiencies. And as I mentioned, they'll have simple assessments that they can do to determine whether or not they are sufficient in that particular muscle area. And if not, then there will be exercises. There's over 40 exercises and drills that that's in the book to help them start to correct those deficiencies so that they can start playing better, healthier golf. And then the drills are really designed to kind of help rewire the brain-body connection, because golf is kind of a habit, and habits are formed. Bad habits are formed just as easily as good habits,
right?
And habits are formed based on repetition. So, what you have to do is, once you correct the deficiencies, you still need to kind of rewire the neuromuscular pathway so that you're getting into those better hitting positions, and that's where the teaching professional can be very helpful. But I also have some drills in there as well, some exercise drills that can help individuals kind of get into those various positions as well. So the book includes that. It has a section in there about low back, because of the prevalence of low back. I mean,
sure.
40%, I think, of all golfers suffer low back injury at some point. It has a chapter in there about sitting and the negative consequences of sitting and how it impacts your golf game and what you can do about that. We talked about seat posture. And then it also kind of gets into, how to the equipment that you can get for a home golf fitness gym. I mean, it's you won't break the bank. You don't have to get a second mortgage. It's amazing. For like $200 to $300, you can fit yourself your corner of your basement or bedroom with a nice home golf fitness gym that can basically solve any ill that you have in terms of muscle deficiency. So I talk about some of the equipment that would be needed for that. Okay. And then I also have one chapter in there about actually losing weight while you're improving your golf game. So it's a good book.
We can all shed a few. Right, we can all shed a few pounds here and there too, especially as we get older. Let me just ask you, Bob, real quick. Where can the folks get their hands on the book, and is it going to be available in bookstores, or is it going to be just available online? And if so, where can we get our hands on one?
Well, right now I'm formatting it for Amazon. It'll be an ebook. So
okay.
It should be out there, like I say, in another week or two. And we'll go that route first. This is my first book, so we'll go that route for a while, and then I want to eventually make some hard copies out of it and start to sell those too.
Now, you're also going to have, I'm assuming, a link available on your website, which is golffitcarolina.com. Is it going to be available if they visit that website once it's been officially launched? Will they be able to get a look at the book there and decide to, if they want to purchase it, click on a link and get it there, or do they have to just strictly go to Amazon.com?
Yeah, I think strictly it'll be Amazon.com to start with, but eventually, we'll expand out into that. And then also, too, Ted, I also like to tell the folks that I do enjoy traveling around and doing golf fitness workshops. I've done quite a few over the years for country clubs and for organizations. So if anybody, in the earshot is interested in offering something like that, just contact me, give me a holler.
Okay, and how can they get a hold of you? What's the best way to get a hold of you? Through the site?
Through the site, or my email address is bob@GolfFit Carolina, and Golf Fit is one F and one T, so it's more like Golf It, GOLFIT Carolina .com. They can call me. Can I give them my cell phone number?
Sure, you can. Whatever you would like.
It's 336-509-4610. I enjoy doing that stuff.
Well, just for the listeners, we certainly have enjoyed having you on here. We're going to have a few more moments here before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bob, I want to first off just thank you very much for coming on this evening and talking a little bit. I definitely want to have you come back anytime that you want. And also I'd like to extend, as I have with all of my guests that come on the program in Golf Talk Live, extend an invitation to you, Bob, starting in the new year. I don't know if you had an opportunity to listen to any of the previous programs, but we're going to be starting a segment called Coach's Corner. And it's going to be every Thursday the same as this, and I'm going to dedicate a portion of the program, and I'm going to have a number of different instructors, probably 2 or 3 at a time, come on, where we'll be able to engage our audience and get questions coming in and that sort of thing. And I would like to have you on because I'd like to have a little bit of sort of variety, so it's not all the same thing. So it'd be great to have somebody that sort of specializes or has a strong instructional area in the fitness end, as well as a sort of a general instructor as well on the program. So I would certainly like to invite you to come back on and participate in Coach's Corner. I think you'd enjoy it, and I think it'll be fun to get some calls and emails and that sort of thing into the program. That's going to be starting in the new year. I'll give you more details when I've got all the format down on that. But I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I hope that you will participate. I know the audience here will love it. And Golf Talk Live, of course, being an online broadcast, goes all over the world, so everybody will certainly be able to listen to this program. And as I mentioned to you, Bob, off air, Golf Talk Live is, even though we're live right now on the internet, it is an auto-recorded program, so usually within about 20 minutes after we conclude the online program, it will be recorded so you can make it available for those that maybe weren't able to tune into the live broadcast, and they can get that link at blogtalkradio.com/Golf Talk Live, and they can actually go back in through the on-demand section once they hit that link and scroll down and click on any of the programs that they maybe missed at earlier opportunities. So, and those are there permanently. So tonight's show will be on there, like I said, within about 20 minutes after we go off the air. And I know, Bob, that you had a link up on your website, so hopefully some of your followers will, if not tuning in live, will be able to get that link active once the recorded version goes up there as well.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Yeah. And as I say, I hope that you'll come back and participate in the Coach's Corner segment in the new year when we have that up and running, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. I've had a lot of interest in it from some of the other folks that have been on the program. And I think it's just
I would love to.
And
golf fitness is my passion, and I enjoy sharing my experiences, with people to help them. So I would definitely love to participate in that.
Yeah, and what we're going to do, as I said, the listeners have heard me talk about this quite a few times, but for your benefit, basically, what we're going to do is have a number of different instructors on each week, and we'll rotate them out, so it won't be the same folks, same instructors and teach professionals and golf industry professionals coming on at the same time. So the listeners will get a good, well-rounded viewpoints and different aspects, and maybe they might have a favorite, maybe some of the folks in your area up in North Carolina that follow you may want to come contact during your segments, and we'll certainly post that ahead of time so people know when you're coming on the program. And obviously, you want to let your people know when you're coming on Golf Talk Live so that they can have the heads up. But we will certainly do our best to make sure that they know that you're going to be on here. Maybe some of your students that you've dealt with may want to call in with some questions just to get them on air. And we're also going to be accepting emails as well, and that email address that they can contact me anytime if they want to get questions up here is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. And they can certainly, as I said, call into the program anytime that they wish at 716-4667. Also, for those of you that want to follow Golf Talk Live on Facebook, we're on facebook.com/Golf Talk Live blog. Make sure that you have the blog on the end there, and that'll take you to our Facebook page, and I appreciate it if you throw a few likes our way. And as I had mentioned to Bob, the website, our website is www.golftalkliveblog.blogspot.com. And once you have that link in place, Bob, I want you to let me know, and I will get your book up on the website there so that our viewers and listeners of the program can get access to get a copy of your, to download a copy of your ebook.
Great.
And Bob, is there anything else that you want to touch on here before we wrap up? Is there anything else that you want to get out there that let your listeners know, or the listeners here on the program? We'll run your website one more time. It's golffitcarolina.com. You can get a hold of Bob through the website, or you can email him personally. You want to run that email address one more time for the listeners, Bob?
Sure, it's bob@golffitcarolina.com. And again, it's one F and one T. And I appreciate you inviting me on to the show. I know we covered a lot of stuff, so yeah, if anybody has any questions, please do get a hold of me. Again, I enjoy working with golfers on this.
Well, and the premise, as I've mentioned many times here on Golf Talk Live, Bob, is I want to be able to bring instructors such as yourself and those in the teaching profession and those in the golf industry in general onto the program, because it's really is an opportunity to get that out there. And I've had a lot of positive feedback since we started the show a little bit earlier in the year, and had a lot of great responses, a lot of people wanting to come on the program, such as yourself, and a lot of great feedback from the listeners. Everybody's enjoyed the experience. And I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to learn. I mean, we can always learn something new from one another. And, I certainly, even though I'm getting to be an older dog myself, I can always learn some new tricks. And I appreciate you coming on here, Bob, and giving me some tips, because obviously I can incorporate them in my teaching and help some of my students. And I'm certainly going to make sure that I get a copy of your book when it's available. Certainly to use that.
And if I could add, too, that if anybody's interested in going through the golf fitness program, I do it here in the Greensboro area in North Carolina, and I also am down in the Myrtle Beach area. So, give me a holler, and we can set up some time to meet.
Perfect. Thank you again, Bob, for coming on the program this evening. Had a great time, great chatting with you, and I look forward to, again, having you back on many, many more times. I hope that you continue to tune in and listen to some of the other programs as they come available, and maybe get a chance to go back and listen to some of the archived ones. Again, I appreciate Bob coming on the program. It was a great segment. I certainly learned a lot. I hope the listeners learned a lot, and we can never any time that we can do something to give us an advantage out in that golf course, believe you me, I'm all for it, and I want to get that information out to the listeners. So, Bob, thank you once again, and you have a great evening, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Ted. Really appreciate it.
No problem. You take care and have a great evening, and I look forward. Please let me know when the book is available so I can let the listeners know.
Will do.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Just going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but I just want to mention a couple of things. Next week, I've got a returning guest, actually, that many of you may remember from the very first show that I did here in Golf Talk Live, Nicole Weller. Now, she's going to be bringing some friends with her, and I'm not going to spill the beans and tell you who they are quite yet, just getting some of them firmed up here, of course, but she's going to be bringing a few other guests with her on the program, and we're going to be addressing an area of golf, talking really all aspects of it, and we touched a little bit about it when she was on here the first time back in May, but basically the women of golf. I want to really emphasize on the ladies next week, and guys, I want you to tune in as well. I know that you're thinking, well, okay, this is about ladies, so it doesn't pertain to me. No, that's not true. There's a lot of women that are playing golf right now. There's a lot of great ladies on the LPGA tour and in the golf industry business as well that need our support, and that's one of the things that I want to do with this program is I really want to do that, and that's why I'm having Nicole back on here. You remember probably a few weeks back I had another young lady who's very, very big in the women's golf, and that was Meredith Kirk, and I'll be talking more and having her back on the program as well. Meredith Kirk out of South Carolina, who is the owner of operator of Meredith Kirk Golf, and also does a magazine in the Myrtle Beach area called Endless Golf, which next month there will be a short or small advertisement for this program in her publication, and it should be available sometime in October. Once it's made available, I will have that on the site as well, a link to that. South Coast Golf Guide, as I mentioned to you, is a sponsor of this program, and Jonathan, I want to thank you for that. I appreciate your support in the program, and you can get a copy of that guide in pretty much most of the golf courses in the southeast area. Certainly want to check, if you want to double check and see where they are, you can certainly visit southcoastgolfguide.com. If you're interested in advertising, the next publication, it comes out at quarterly. The next one will be available, I believe, in January. The current ones, as I mentioned, just came out this month. In fact, I think it was just delivered last week. Jonathan was getting those out there to the different courses, and I believe Edwin Watts is also, some of the Edwin Watts stores are carrying it. And it basically covers a lot of the southeast from Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, and, of course, Florida. Many of the courses are featured in there. One of my favorite courses, actually resorts, is Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort, who I've played at many times and visited their location, and it's about 30 minutes down the road from where I live. So for those of you that are interested in visiting that, go to sandestin.com and get more information. They got 4 great courses there. They run a number of ads actually in the South Coast Golf Guide. Jonathan's a good representative for bringing some great courses to bear here. For those of you that are coming down to the southeast that want to be able to play some golf, pick up a copy of his guide at one of the local courses and or an Edwin Watts store. And I know there are some other areas, and I'll find out from him exactly where else you can pick up a copy. But if you're not near a course in this area and you still would like to get a copy, maybe you're planning on coming down to the southeast here in the next few months and you want to get an idea of some great courses to play, you want to pick up a copy of that, just, again, visit his website, southcoastgolfguide.com, and you can find out how you can get a hold of your copy of the guide there. Definitely want to pick it up. And as I said, when Meredith's magazine comes out next month, Endless Golf, I will certainly make that aware to the listeners here as well. Some other guests that are going to be coming up, as I said, September 19th, Nicole Weller and some friends of hers are going to be coming on the program to talk about women in golf. September 26th, Dan Schauger is coming. He's another Mike Austin golf swing student, if you will, and he's been teaching the Mike Austin golf swing for quite some time. He's going to be visiting on the 26th of September, wrapping up this month. Gosh, it's hard to believe we're already going to be finishing up in another week or so, another month. October 3rd, John Dunnigan, who's a PGA Master Professional and the 2012 PGA Philadelphia Section Junior Golf Leader and the 2008 PGA Philadelphia Section Teacher of the Year, as well as the Director of Coaching at the White Manor Country Club in Melbourne, Pennsylvania. He's going to be joining me here on Golf Talk Live on October 3rd. Another gentleman that's going to be coming in October 10th, Dr. Greg Ortman, who you may recall a couple of weeks ago was on here. He's Vice President with Ontic Golf. And again, I want to apologize to the executives at Ontic Golf, Bernie Pinder, who is the founder and president, and also my good friend Barry Goldstein is also Vice President with Ontic Golf. We had some technical difficulties that evening, and unfortunately the broadcast, even though it is still there and it's in the archive section, it does have some technical issues there, a lot of feedback, there were some pauses and so forth. So I apologize to the listeners, and I certainly apologize to the executives there at Ontic Golf. But they're going to come back on. We're just in the process of rescheduling another opportunity for them to come back on. We've worked out, obviously, the bugs and whatnot, and want to bring them back on and give them a nice, clean presentation here on Golf Talk Live. Ontic Golf has a great line of putters, custom-made putters. Bernie is a master when it comes to that, and obviously many of you that have tuned into the program and so forth are familiar with Barry Goldstein, whose daughter Carly Rae Goldstein is now at LSU, getting ready to start her college career, and we're going to be getting some updates along the way from her as well, see how things are going at LSU. And also Dr. Greg Ortman is going to be coming on. He's just released a new book not too long ago called Golfology. He's going to be coming on here on October the 10th to talk a little bit about that. So looking forward to having those people coming on in the next few weeks. We've got many, many more that have signed up and are going to be coming on here. So make sure that you tune in every week here on Golf Talk Live. Just follow the link at blogtalkradio.com/Golf Talk Live. We're on every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. for you Easterners. But 6 p.m. Central Standard Time is the show that comes on. It is live from that point on until we go off the air. I haven't been going quite to 8 o'clock on a lot of the programs right now. I am going to be extending that and doing the full 2-hour program. Right now I've just sort of kept it down to just a little over an hour on most of them, but I will be extending it as we're adding more aspects of the program and building and so on and so forth. So we'll be going a little bit longer and having some great, as I mentioned to our guest this evening, Bob Forman from North Carolina, certified golf fitness instructor and the director of the Golf Fitness Academies. We are going to be running a segment in the new year called Coach's Corner. And as most of you that have tuned in on a regular basis know what that's all about, but for those that are maybe tuning in for the first time this evening, basically what we'll be doing is having some coaches and golf industry types from really all around the world. We've had quite a good response. Are going to be coming on here. A couple of them will be coming on, maybe 2 or 3 of them at a time, and we'll allow you, the listener, an opportunity to call in and get some vital tips and training from these guys and gals that are coming onto the program. And so far, all of the previous guests, including tonight's guests, have agreed to come back and participate. And I'm going to rotate them out, as I said to Bob, and allow them an opportunity to come on here and for you guys to get a fresh perspective each week. So that's going to be actually an hour segment that I'll have those instructors and golf professionals on the program. And I've got in the works here coming up, and I haven't got the date confirmed. I'm not going to tell you too much right now, but I'm going to just let you know that we've got another guest that's kind of coming up here. They're going to be introducing a kind of a very interesting product for golf, and I'm not even going to tell you what it is right now until I've got everything confirmed, but they're going to be coming in on here. But the really interesting part is, in addition to the product itself, is who's endorsing it in the golf world. A very, very seasoned veteran, and again, I'm not even going to tell you his name right now until everything's been set in place, but this gentleman has won 3 major tournaments on the PGA Tour, as well as, I believe, a couple of majors on the Champions Tour, and he's going to be coming on here with the other gentleman, and they're going to be talking about not only the product, but also about the individual career as well of this particular golf professional. And he's, as I said, very, very seasoned. You'll know who it is as soon as I mention the name, but I'm not going to let you in on that. You got to tune in every week, and I'm going to be releasing that shortly. But it's definitely worth tuning in, and once I have that date finalized, I will release that and let you know a little bit more who's coming on, and also about the product that he's putting his John Hancock on. So anyways, I want to thank you all for tuning in this evening on Golf Talk Live. I appreciate those of you tuning in each and every week, and I want to give a special acknowledgement to some other corporate friends, Doyle Golf Solutions over in Ireland, Peter J. Doyle, a good buddy of mine. If you visit my website, golftalkliveblog.blogspot.com, there is a link for him on there, and he's a professional, not only instructor, but he's also a professional master club maker, actually. And for those of you that are listening that are across the pond, as he puts it, definitely want to check his website out. And I'm also going to be putting up a link to his blog as well on there, so you can get access to that. He's a good friend of mine. I've networked with him for quite some time now through Facebook and other social media sites, and he's been a big supporter of the program. So, Peter, thank you for your continued support. And for those of you that want to go directly to his site, it's www.doylesportsolutions.ie, and just click on the golf link on there, and you can go right to the golf. As I mentioned, Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort, just visit sandestin.com, or you can call the resort directly at 1-800-622-1038 and make yourself a reservation and come down and enjoy some great golf. And, of course, my really good friend Jonathan Laird of South Coast Golf Guide, who is now a sponsor of Golf Talk Live. You can get in touch with him if you're interested in advertising into the January guide, which will be coming up. You'll be getting ready and taking new contacts for that.
You can reach him at jonathan@southcoastgolfguide.com. That's jonathan@southcoastgolfguide.com, and it's Jonathan Laird is his name. Please let him know that I sent you. If you're interested in advertising, if you're running a golf business or if you're a golf course in the area that he covers and you're interested in getting into that guide, certainly give him a call or email him. I don't have his number right here handy, I'm sorry, but certainly email him and tell him that you're interested and let him know that Ted from Golf Talk Live sent you, and I'm sure that he'll take care of you. Also, Meredith Kirk, you can check her out at meredithkirk.com. She's a big supporter of the program as well, and she's VP of the magazine Endless Golf, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Is going to be coming out in October. We're also going to have an ad. And also, just let me back up real quick. There is also an ad in this current issue of South Coast Golf Guide that Jonathan produces. In the September issue is already out there right now, so you can get pass that around and let your fellow golfing buddies know that they can tune into the program every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Quickly back to Meredith. Meredith's magazine, Endless Golf, is going to be coming out sometime in October. I'll let you know when it's been released. I will also have a link on our website here at Golf Talk Live blog just to let you know when it's available. And we're also going to have an ad running in her publication as well. It's a great magazine. Meredith did a fantastic job. I'm really, really very impressed with it. She's been doing it for a while now. And she's also got some other big things going on. She's also an LPGA and USGTF Level 3 certified teacher professional, and you can get a hold of her at www.meredithkirk.com. So make sure you get in touch with her if you're interested in some lessons, or you're interested in maybe advertising or getting a copy of her magazine, Endless Golf. Stay tuned for that coming out in October. I've also, I'm going to be putting up on the website, golftalkliveblog.blogspot.com, in addition to some of the products, which I'm going to mention really quickly before we go off the air, there is the No Sweat lotion. And for those of you that are not familiar with that, it's just a small little bottle of lotion that you spray on your hands. It's non-toxic, which is the great thing about it. And you rub it literally all through over your hands and in between your fingers and so forth. And essentially what it does is it prevents your hands from sweating, hence the name No Sweat. You can now purchase a copy right directly from my website. You can click on the Buy Now button at the bottom of the bottle, and I believe they retail for $8.99. It's well worth it, especially if you live here in the South and you're out there and your hands are sweaty and you're trying to hold on to that club. Even if you're wearing a glove, you can spray it on your hands. As I say, it's non-toxic. It just takes a few seconds to dry, about 10 seconds to dry off. It doesn't leave any powder. It doesn't leave any sort of residue. And as I said, you could actually even be eating a sandwich after with that on your hands, and you're not going to have to worry. It's non-toxic. So definitely get a copy. I'm going to have Joe Watson, who is the developer of that particular product, No Sweat Lotion. He's going to be coming on the program in the next month or so as well to talk a little bit more about it. I'm sure he'll do a better job than I did. But if you're interested in trying it out, I strongly recommend. I've gotten a few bottles myself, and it does really, really work. It's a great product, very reasonable, and the bottle lasts quite some time. And actually, Joe is very generously, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in upcoming shows, but Joe has very generously sent me a few extra bottles, which I'm going to give away here on the program free. I'm going to make you work a little bit. You're going to have to call in and maybe answer some questions, but some golf questions that my guests will have arranged, but we'll send you a free sample of that bottle, and I think you'll like it. Also, this evening, you heard earlier a small infomercial that I put together for the In-Your-Face View Base, which is basically a holder for your smartphone or iPhone. You can really use it for any of those devices. It's a great device, and it retails for about $29.95. And you can also get that. There's a link. There's actually a couple links right on the main page of the Golf Talk Live blog.blogspot.com site. You can click on that, and you can purchase actually not only the View Base, but you can also, there's a tripod mount as well. So for you instructors out there that are using a smartphone or iPhone for some of your instruction, maybe you're videotaping your students, this is a great little mount. It mounts onto your standard tripod. It's an attachment, and I believe it's going to be retailing, don't quote me on this, I think it's around $19. If you click on that link, you can go back and actually purchase that as well. So I strongly encourage you listening tonight to check out our website, for both of those products. I'm going to be having some other products going up there. And right now I've got one book on there. I'm going to be putting some others up there as well that with the links that you can purchase a copy. But right now, Jim Dusabella, who was on last week, his book is up there right now under the book section, under the book tab. It has the book jacket as well as his photo and a link to Amazon.com where you can purchase his book, King of Clubs. And it's a great book. I'm reading it right now. I'm almost finished, actually, and it's a fantastic book. So you can get that on the site as well. And I'm going to be putting up all of the books that have been featured here on Golf Talk Live. I'm going to have a link and so forth up on the website so that you can get them and purchase them right from our website. Anyways, I want to thank you all for tuning in this evening. I'm just going to quickly wrap up here. Remember that Golf Talk Live airs live every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 7 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast. Generally runs a little over an hour, but it does technically go through till 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And for those of you that weren't able to tune into the live broadcast tonight, it is auto-recorded, as I've mentioned many times, and you can visit the on-demand section at the end of the program. Just give it about 20 minutes and it should load up. And in the meantime, if you want to go back and listen to previously aired shows, you can go right back to the very beginning and listen to, if you've missed a show, you can go back and listen. We've had great guests over the last several months, well worth listening. And as I said, next week, September 19th, Nicole Weller will be coming back again onto the program, and she'll be bringing some friends with her, and we're going to be talking about women in golf quite extensively for the hour that they're going to be here. And some of the ways that women are progressing through the game, and talking really about all aspects of it. If you want to come on the program, if you're in the golf business and you want to come on this program, you can email me at ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. That's ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. Or you can contact me at area code 850-588-1550. That's 850-588-1550. Just leave me a message if I'm not available, and I will get back to you promptly. If you want to come on the program, that's the way to do it, and I'd love to have you on and either present you as a teacher professional, if that's what you are, or if maybe you've got a product that you think would help some of the golfers out there. I certainly want to hear about it, and I'll try to get you on when I can. Again, I would really love it if the listeners would visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/golftalkliveblog. You can certainly go there and like us on Facebook. And one last time, I'm going to give you the website. Just been up and running now here for a few days at www.golftalkliveblog.blogspot.com. Let me do that again, www.golftalkliveblog.blogspot.com. And you can surf around there. I've got some info. The only section that's not fully completed yet is the guest schedule. I have the calendar up there, but I haven't got everything inputted yet, so there's really nothing on there. But all of the other links, a little bit about me, if you want to check out my background. I am a USGTF instructor and been teaching for a number of years privately, and still do. So if you're interested in lessons as well, if you're in the Panama City Beach area and you're going to be visiting, I do teach privately. You can contact me, and we'll try and get you hooked up with some lessons. One last thing, just before I go, again, I just want to just say quickly a word about to my American friends out there, how grateful we are for all that you do out there as a nation, in supporting all of the rest of the nations out there. You certainly have stepped up over many decades as a leader, and I know that September 11th has become a symbol of strength for those here in the United States and for around the world. And I just want to say that my heart and that goes out to all of those who have lost somebody in the Twin Towers and also in the downed aircraft in Pennsylvania. I know that was a great tragedy, and I know that that those of you that have lost loved ones in that tragedy can't begin to fully understand how much you have suffered over the years. But just know that there are a lot of people out there that are supporting you, and I just want to know that that this nation will continue to move forward and that you certainly have my support and my appreciation for all that you have done as a nation and as a people. And I will always continue to support the United States of America. Thank you for tuning in this evening on Golf Talk Live. Tune in next Thursday with my special guest, Nicole Weller, at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Golf Talk Live. God bless and have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen.